I'll say that again. Let's get ready for this main event between the Brandon Bayleefs and the Devious Dewotts. The Devious Dewotts having their third main event in a row, which is it honestly makes me really happy. There were, again, like I said, there were three different battles that were in main event contention, but I do think this was the best battle. So the baton pass is a strat that should not be allowed to anyone. Well, too bad. Baton pass is staying. Let's introduce our first team of this main event, though. We have the Brandon Bayleefs, led by Brody Ring, playing for the Wild Foundation. Currently 4th place at 7-2. A team that has just been consistently good. Brandon Bayleefs are fantastic. It's been really good. Just really good battles all season, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. We see the Oyumans. We have the Ursa Luna at 1-1. The first time, and I don't think the first time, but the first time it actually tried to get the first time it tried to sweep, it got countered by a Porygon 2. Sad. But the Ursa Luna is a really strong Pokemon here. Just unfortunately hasn't been able to do too much for this team. But the Hatterene is at 6-2. The Hat being such a strong Pokemon. The UU Pokemon, we have the Primarina at 7-2, and the Rotom Heat leading the team at 10-4. I'm ignoring chat, even though I'm really not. But the RU Pokemon, we have the Metagross at 5-5, the Salazzle at 0-1, and the Flygon is at 5-2. Really strong Pokemon here. Of the NU Pokemon, we have the Chansey at 1-3, the Gigalith at 5-4, and the Bombardier is only at 0-1. Only been brought once, and unfortunately was dead. The Piyumons of the team, we have the Dodrio at 3-1, the Poliwrath at 3-0, Shedinja and Eldegoss each at 0-0. I'm actually curious to see if you will bring Shedinja at some point. I'm really curious because Shedinja is really good, but yeah, no, just a really strong team. But they are going to be going up against another really strong team of the Devious Dewotts, led by Apollo Paladin, currently playing for, not currently, but playing for Doctors Without Borders, who is currently at 6th place at 6-3. Another really strong team who started off a little bit rocky, but has just been really strong since the first couple weeks. Got some fights in chat, oh my goodness. It's really strong showings, and it's a really good battler. This is a battle of titans, I should say. Two really strong teams against each other, and I'm really excited to see how this goes. The Oyumans, we have Mr. Krabs, Mr. String Cheese Man, Goldango, whatever you want to call him. Goldango, second in the league in knockouts at 15-3. String Cheese, Mr. Krabs, Money, whatever you want to call him. Really scary Pokemon here. On the Dragonite, we have 7-4, another really scary Pokemon, having a 6-0 sweep of its own as well. These two Oyumons just being really strong here. The UU Pokemon, we have the Gyarados at 1-2 and the Scizor at 3-2. Two Pokemon that might not have as many knockouts, but they will. I know it. The RU Pokemon, we have the Blissey at 2-1, the Altaria at 0-0, and the Grimmsnarl at 3-2. The NU Pokemon, we have the base form of Oricorios at 0-2, the Paldean Tauros at 5-2, and the Tyrantrum at 0-1. And the Piyumons of the Weezing at 5-5, Manectric at 0-1, the Houndoom at 1-1, and the Druddigon. How could you have not brought Druddigon yet? Like, boy. You're gonna take my Druddigon and not even use him. I'm kidding, but no, Druddigon has not been brought yet. But I am looking forward to the time where this Pokemon is brought. Druddigon is such a good Pokemon. I love him. He makes me happy. But let's get in. I'm excited to show you this battle. Battle of the Strunk. I am not gonna hydrate. Because I don't have a hydrate regime, so I don't have to. This is the last battle, I'll be fine. The Brandon Bayleefs bringing in the Gigalith. We see the Rotom Heat hiding behind the legs of this Metagross. We see we see the Primarina, The Eldegods coming back, and the Flygon. To all those other teams to not be Oops All Dragon Killer. But you have a Dragonite! So... Anyway, no. Dragonite's better. But the Dragonite is here, as well as the Mr. Krabs, String Cheese Man, Surfer, Board, Child. Yeah, no, I have Drought as my ability. Don't worry, I have Drought. Discount Charizard. We have the Blissey, the Gyarados, the Grimmsnarl, and the Altaria. 3 dragons on the field here. And a Dragon Killer. No, I'm excited. I still really want Eldegoss. Brody, what would it take for me to have Eldegoss back? Let's get into this battle of the main event of Week 10. Let's get into this. The random Bayleefs are going to lead with the Gigalith, the Arachnid, with the Devious Dewotts leading with the Gremlin, the Grimmsnarl. The Thunder Wave immediately being set up by the Grimmsnarl, with the Toxic being set up by the Gigalith. To break Chansey and a Blissey. Oh my gosh, that'll make me so mad. The Reflect being set up by the Grimmsnarl, with the Stealth Rocks being set up by the Stealth Rocks. The Spirit Break connecting and dropping the special attack of the Arachnid, and the Rocky Helmet is going to do a little bit of chip damage, and the Rock Blast is going to crit hit once, twice, 3, 4, and not enough to take it down. But will the Toxic be enough? The Sandstorm and the Toxic are enough to take down the Grimmsnarl. The Mr. Squidward Gholdengo comes out and goes for the Shadow Ball against the switched out Eldegoss. The Shadow Ball is going to do a lot of damage, but the Cotton Down is going to drop the speed of the Gholdengo with the immediate switch back into the Gigalith here, and the Shadow Ball is going to do another hit, do some pretty good damage. Another Shadow Ball is going to connect and take down the Spider, the Arachnid, the Rock Spider, right before he was able to get up another Sandstorm. The Rotom Heat then coming in, immediate switch into Mother. The Volt Switch connecting from... That's a lot of damage from a Volt Switch. Anyway, going into the Slitherwing question mark, the Flygon, with an Outrage connecting and not doing too much damage because of the Reflect here. The Toxic then being set up by this Blissey to put this Flygon onto a timer. And another Outrage smacking the Blissey, and it's going to get confused with the Wish then being set up by the Blissey. The Reflect now wearing off with a switch into the Metagross, the Corroded. I still love the Corroded Steel reference. The Wish is going to bring the Blissey back up to over half its HP, with the switch back into Mr. Squidward. The Cosmic Power then being set up by the Metagross here, but the switch out from the Metagross into the Primarina to trick the Choice Specs with the Assault Vest here. But the Specs is pretty scary to be on a Primarina. Thunderbolt doing a lot of damage, but the Scald is able to do even more. The switch from the Primarina into the Flygon to protect it from a Make It Rain, but it's not going to protect it. The Mr. Squidward falling. Rotom Heat then coming out to replace it. The switch from the Gholdengo into the Altaria, into Hugs, to set up the Volt Switch into the Primarina. But the this Volt Switch from the Rotom to the Altaria, the Citrus Berry healing, I don't know what I'm saying, but the Fire Spin into the Metagross here to trap it, and the Cosmic Power being set up here. Is it going to happen? It is going to happen. The Perish Song Fire Spin Trap. Something that I wanted to pull off when I had Altaria, but I never was able to. This Metagross is on a very scary timer here. The Cotton Guard, though, is going to bring the Altaria up to 2.5 defense. The Body Press is not going to do too much here. The Perish Song counting down slowly. The Altaria going for another Cotton Guard to just guarantee that it's not going to fall before it's able to switch out from this Perish Song here. And there it is, the swap into the Gyarados. Of course, the Intimidate's not going to drop the stat from the clear body, with the Meteor Mash going to do very little damage to this Gyarados, and the Perish Song is going to drop the Metagross. The Rotom Heat comes out, though, and the Volt Switch immediately to knock down the Gyarados. And the the switch back into the Eldegoss here to bring back out the Blissey. And the Leech Seed is going to be set up from the Eldegoss with a Wish being set up as well. Leech Seed is going to recover so much HP because it does do a little bit of the HP damage. So the Toxic is going to fail because of the substitute, but the Wish is going to come true. And oh, you did run that strat. Let's go. The Cotton Guard being set up. You're running my Eldegoss strat. I'm so happy. Cotton Guard being set up by this Eldegoss here. With Leech Seed bringing it back to full HP. The Hugs comes back out. And the Stealth Rock doing a lot of chip damage to this Altaria. With the Wish then bringing the Altaria back to full HP as well. Rotom Heat then comes out. With a Perish Song being used right away from the Altaria. And the Protect now going to protect the Altaria from another Volt Switch from the Rotom here. From Mr. Oven Mitts, I should say. Good boy, Mr. Oven Mitts. Another Protect, though, failing here. And the Protect, or the Volt Switch coming through from this Rotom to switch it out into the Primarina here. Altaria is going to have to switch, but it's going to use another Perish Song. With the Ice Beam is going to take it down. The timer being set up on to this Primarina now. Blissey then comes back out with an Ice Beam connecting, doing some pretty decent damage. With another Wish, though, being set up from the Blissey. The stall is already real. So many Wish stalls been happening this week. The switch from the Primarina into the Rotom to get Toxic by this Blissey, with the Blissey getting back up to full HP. And a trick now to give the choice specs to the Blissey and the leftovers to the Rotom. What a good trick. The Will-O-Wisp is going to burn the Blissey with a Toxic, of course not going to land, and not even going to make a difference either because of whatever. But the Dragonite comes in, does a lot of damage from those Stealth Rocks, and the Overheat is going to do a lot of damage here as well, but it is a resistance hit, so it's not going to do too much. And the Volt Switch coming in from the Rotom, switching out into the Eldegoss here, with the Dragon Dance then being set up from the Dragonite. Dragon Claw is going to do a lot of damage to Eldegoss, but of course the Cotton Down is going to drop it down back to neutral speed, and the Leech Seed is going to miss, unfortunately, with a Roost then being set up from the Dragonite here. The Leech Seed is going to connect this time to get a little bit of recovery back to this Eldegoss, but the Stone Edge is going to connect. It is going to drop the speed of the Dragonite more, but the Eldegoss does fall. Rotom Heat comes back out, though. And the switch from the Dragonite into the Blissey, with another Volt Switch connecting, doing a little bit of chip damage, and switching out into that Primarina. Only special attackers left against Blissey, which is a little bit scary, I'd say. But the Scald comes through, does a lot of damage to the Blissey, but the Wish is able to connect, or not connect, but is able to be set up. The switch from the Blissey, though, into the Dragonite, with a Scald coming through. The Scald, through the resistant hit, is able to take down the Dragonite and just waste the Wish. Mr. Squidward comes back out, though, and the Shadow Ball is able to outspeed and take down the Primarina. It's just Mr. Oven Mitts against these last two Pokemon here. Will it be enough? The Volt Switch does some good damage to Mr. Squidward. I love it. And now it's time for the stall. The Toxic boost against the Wish potential? No, the Protect potential. So will the Toxic be able to wear off before Mr. Oven Mitts can get the knockout? Blissey only at 8% HP. It has to go for another Protect because of the choice specs, and it does, protecting it from another Overheat. The Toxic dwindling it down even more, but will it be enough? I don't think so. I think this the triple protect does not come through, and the overheat is able to connect, and Mr. Oven Mitts with the final knockout against the Blissey, leaving the Brandon Bayleefs as the winners. Such a fantastic battle from both teams, and oh my goodness, I loved it. Definitely don't team build at 3 a.m. No, you continue to team build at 3 a.m. That was such a good battle. That was so good. No, I'm kidding. But like, no, such a fantastic showing between both of your teams. But just the wonky strats that have come through from both of your teams. I loved it. Y'all are fantastic.